Hello there, people of the internet. It is a super hot day here in Florida, and humidity is all over, and my optic has been officially humidified. As a matter of fact, look at all the water that's on my gun. This was not rained on. I just took this from air conditioning into Florida. This is how much humidity we have here. It's a really good test. Wow, look at that. That's a really good test as to whether or not your optics are going to actually be waterproof, because they're going to get some water on them in an environment like this. So it is a super humid day here in Florida. So, little story for you guys. Actually, before that, I guess I'll tell you all about this. There's a brand of ammunition called Badlands Munitions, and they make a type of 5.56 223. I'm not quite sure what it would be classified as, but we're just going to call it 5.56. And this particular 5.56 fires a 55 grain projectile from a 20-inch barrel at about 3,500 feet per second. And they do that because they have I'm just realizing I don't have my earmuffs, so I'll have to go grab those. They do that because they're using a new style of powder. I am uncertain what kind of powder they're actually using, but I'm pretty sure I know what it is. Again, just an assumption on my part, but I think they're able to achieve these velocities because they're using the powder AR+. I think it's by Shooter's World, if memory serves me correctly. But this AR+ powder with a maximum charge will get you about 3,500 feet per second from a 20-inch barrel, which is insanely fast for 5.56. Normally, like, a 5.56 max load spec round is like 3,250 feet per second. So if you're getting 3,500 feet per second, that's a pretty good, impressive feat. So a buddy of mine went out, got himself some of this Badlands ammunition, and I was going to do the same thing. The only issue, it's impossible to find. Dude, they're literally always sold out. I have not ever gone to search for this ammo and seen it available basically anywhere. So my buddy managed to get his hands on a batch, and he loaded a bunch of 30-round mags, and then one single 20-round mag, and he had 10 rounds left over. And you know what? He gave it to me to do some testing. And this testing is going to be kind of a first, kind of a feel. There is going to be a second test. I want to get some ballistics gel out here, and I want to be able to test that. The only issue with me doing that this weekend is this is my only weekend to record while I'm currently here. And I had to drive across the state of Florida. It's like 97 degrees outside. There's no refrigeration here where I'm at. This is just not the spot for ballistic gel testing. So instead of that, I got a couple of water jugs. I want to see how regular 5.56 compares to this ammunition. And then I'm just going to go ahead and probably clack the steel out there. I want to see what kind of impact difference there is. Now, I imagine that this stuff is probably not going to be good for your rifle because it probably is running at higher pressures to achieve those higher velocities. So I would not run this stuff to your rifle on a regular basis. I would definitely save it for just in case sort of circumstances. Now, it's a really interesting round. It's a steel case round. We normally think of steel case ammunition as like being cheap, bottom of the barrel garbage, but in this particular case, this ammunition is steel cased because supposedly it generates higher pressures than what brass would be able to withstand. And as a result of that, a brass case would rupture, whereas this steel case apparently should not. I've never actually used this stuff. I have no idea where our point of impact is going to be. I would like to sit down and accuracy test this stuff as well, but I just don't have a viable bench rest out here at this current point in time to be able to do that. So like I said, part 2 video for this coming up. I just wanted to check this stuff out and get a feel for it before I go doing anything else. So I guess now I get to play walk back to the house to get the earmuffs, and I will be right back. Wow, it is really humid out here and really warm. I think the high today was like 97. It's probably less right now because we're kind of in the later end of the day, but I'd still bet it's in the 90s right now. It sucks out here. So I have some Lake City brand M193 5.56 that I'm gonna compare this stuff to. And the reason why I'm using Lake City brand 5.56 is because it is actual 5.56 specifications. That's over 3,200 feet per second from a 20-inch barrel. There's other kinds of 5.56 out there which don't really meet that specification. They tend to revolve more around 3,100 feet per second. And then there's the 223, which from a 20-inch barrel is probably more like 2,900 feet per second. That really is brand dependent as well. So I know for a fact that Lake City 5.56 reaches that 3,200 plus feet per second. So I'm going to go ahead and load a Lake City 5.56 round into our mag, and I'm going to hit one of the water jugs with just a regular old 5.56, and then we'll hit the other one with one of the Badlands Munitions ones, and I want to see how much more of a splatter we get. Hopefully this doesn't hurt my AR. Fingers crossed. I'm sure it'll be fine. I just wouldn't use... God, look at that. Look at that. That's nuts. This thing is soaked from the humidity. But I'm willing to bet that this will probably be okay. Man, the humidity is all over the optic and whatnot. Oh my goodness gracious. It's all slippery. Oh boy. Alright. So this is the Lake City round. Let me put my ears on here. I imagine that this is going to be pretty gosh darn effective against that water jug. And then we'll try the Badlands one, and we'll see how much more effective it is against the other water jug. So firing. Alright. I mean, I put it down. I feel like that one was kind of a waste of water, though, because it really didn't do very much. Alright. This is the Badlands, and this should be moving at like 3,500 feet per second. Ah, dude, that was significantly more. That made that thing bounce and empty. Here, let me pop this bad boy on safe here. God, this thing is just lathered in water. Man, that was one heck of a difference, dude. Alright, now as far as the jugs go, kind of hard to tell on the aftermath of looking at water jugs. But there is definitely a bigger hole on the Badlands Munition one, which is this one here, than there is on the Lake City. The Lake City definitely broke this thing in half and tore it apart. But this has like an actual exit hole right there, which is really cool. I wish I had more water jugs, because I would like test that again to see if it was a one-off thing or not. Okay, well, now that we got that done, I actually have a couple of targets from some testing I was doing earlier. I think I have a can of corn that might be salvageable out there. Let's hit the can of corn with a round of Badlands munition. Alright, if I put the corn right here, you guys will be able to see it, right? I have no idea where this is zeroed at. I don't have a whole lot of ammo, so I'm going to try and hit it. Fingers crossed I actually managed to hit that. Okay, here we go. I know it's not very far away, but again, I have no idea where this stuff is going to impact in comparison to the zero I have for this thing. And this is zeroed for Lake City 5.56. Let's do it. I think I hit it. Didn't seem to do very much though. Maybe it just kind of zipped right through, because these are full metal jackets I'm using here. I, in fact, did not hit it. It almost looks like we hit low. I'll aim at the top of the can and we'll see if we hit it. I was about to say, even for full metal jacket, I should have done something better than that. There we go. That one looked like a hit. Still didn't look like it did very much, though. Oh, yeah. That was a direct hit. There we go. That is a hole inside of the can. I don't know what we can get from that. I guess I'm going to, like, set the can down like this. Try and hit it long ways. Maybe we'll see something different happen. Yeah. I could probably make that work. Can you guys see that can all right? Well, ride the lightning. Let's see what happens here. Well, it bounced. That was cool. It is officially creamed corn. Look at that. It looks like there was some kind of flashing that happened on the metal of the can, because that looks almost burnt on the exit wound there. That's really weird. Very strange. I was not expecting that. And we definitely bulged the can out with the energy transfer from that round. Okay, cool. Well, I got a can of Spam out there from that same test that this can's from. let's shoot that. Why the heck not? The can was already destroyed, and I tell you what, guys, it is gross, because I destroyed that yesterday, and yeah, it sitting outside in the elements overnight really did not do it justice. And the fact that it's still here and was not eaten by animals really raises some red flags on what exactly is in that can. Well, let's shoot it, I guess. I'm going to use my magnified optic here. Let me wipe the humidity off of this thing real quick. There we go. So I can't really see it all that well. There we go. Yeah, that hit it. That magnified optic really made that easier. All right, let's see what that looks like, shall we? Well, the can completely bulged out. That was fun. And, yeah. That looks appetizing, doesn't it? I sure am, sure am glad I'm holding that. God, this can is slimy. I don't really know what we came to expect with that. That looks like our entrance hole right there. Neat. And then it probably blew out this hunk right there because I had this laying sideways. All right. Fascinating. I'm going to go put this down because it smells really bad. With that canned meat, anyone who knows how bad bologna is, like the horrible things that are inside of bologna, animals eat that. I was out here testing. I had some bologna out here. Bologna's gone. Bologna got scavenged up by critters. Canned meat, they didn't touch it. Tells you how bad that is. Oh boy. All right, well, now I'm just going to kind of hit the steel out there. We're going to see what kind of impact this sounds like whenever it smacks into that steel. I wish I had some ballistic gel. That would really make this test a lot of fun, but we'll save that for next time. Dude, I saw sparks on that. Oh, that was cool. How many more rounds do I got? Not many. All right, let me go ahead and just do one more out there. Yeah, man, that's making that spark. Ah, hell. May as well ride the lightning. Let's do it again. Recoil is not that bad with this stuff, considering how fast it's going. And the concussive blast that comes out of the barrel is not much more significant than what you feel with like normal 5.56. I'm going to get some of this AR plus powder, and I'm going to kind of make my own Badlands ammunition, because I'm not sure if I'll be able to find more of it, and I guess I did just use the last of it shooting at steel, but boy, this was fun. If I manage to get my hands on more, I'll go ahead and test that. If not, I'll kind of just make my own. The fastest that I've ever pushed 223 was with Varget, and it gets into like the upper 3,300 feet per second mark. I'm going to go ahead and break out a chronograph on the next test, and hopefully some ballistic gel if I can manage to get my hands on some. And we're going to test this stuff out and see how fast it's actually going. Although I have watched chronograph tests of this stuff, it does in fact reach that 3,500 feet per second. But dude, it's a barrel burner. There's super high gas pressures. It's not something you want to run through your firearm on a regular basis. But boy, is it fun to test. And it seems to be pretty significantly different, because it was a pretty substantial difference that we saw here today. All right, thanks for watching, folks. I appreciate your time. Like, subscribe, share. Description below has a link to all sorts of stuff. Go check it out. I'm going to walk over to the steel real quick and see if those impacts made any significant dents in the steel. It's just AR 500 steel, so let's see what happens, I guess. So I've been out here recording all day, and I've shot that thing with like a bunch of 5.56 so far today. And the impacts from the Badlands munitions, they're like more shiny. They're more silver on the steel. It didn't really make that much of a difference in terms of like damage to the steel itself. They're just shinier. So that tells me it probably hit the steel harder. Or maybe there's something else going on with these projectiles. Maybe the lead is just flying so fast and hits so hard that it like molds with the steel. I don't know. But they are shinier for what that's worth. All right, I'll see y'all later. Been a little while since I've done this. Bonnie and Clyde be damned. Poor man's Garen. It's a shame that bolt-action shotguns aren't more mainstream.